Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodash, and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, love, salutations, and blessings to the house of David, which is the elect. And I came across this information just now, and I thought that, I thought it was interesting, given the times that we're in. And, that clip that you saw in the beginning, all right, I saw that earlier today, which is just a complete embarrassment, right? It furthers validate, what, the men of the Lord, starting with the elder apostle Tahar, right? Has been in that spirit lately on, rebuking the daughters of Israel, all right? Particularly starting with the so-called black woman, right? The Judite. All right. And how, the apostle Tahar was saying, reasons to stay away from, these hyenas. Right. And when you look at how they were acting, it really does look like a pack of wild dogs. Right. Rabid, hyenas. Right. Uncontrollable. Right. No type of couth to them. No type of decor, if that's the word I'm thinking of. But here it is. They are supposed to be getting just have gotten their college education, right? And these are supposed to be individuals who are aspiring to be professional, right? And now we know, of course, that Esau and his his society, right? What professional is, is a bunch of bullshit, but if even based off of their ideas of success, right, and how they want to, be successful in life, wouldn't you think it would have been, have wisdom to say in your mind, well, I shouldn't act like this because I'm just graduating and I'm about to go into the, corporate world, and I don't want to be seen or known as somebody that is, uncontrollable or, out of control. Because here it is. Now they've gone viral, right? And any any corporation, any business person, any hiring manager, they can come across this. They can see this. And it doesn't take much, especially nowadays, to be able to link a face to somebody, online, right? Especially if you go viral, right? It's not hard to find people, you see, especially, with AI technology and face recognition, all that stuff. But regardless, it's that right there is just further proof, on how far our people are destroyed, man. And speaking mainly mentally, right, and spiritually, okay, because you're not going to see any other of these other nations of their women acting like this. And that's not to big them up, but they have at least common sense to, act appropriately in the correct settings, right? Because there's nothing wrong with, and I'm not even calling that dancing, okay? But there's nothing wrong with celebrating. But there's a time and a place and a way for these things. You see? But that is why the scriptures, speaks about our women as being lacking wisdom, right? Where is that? Sea monsters, right? Because our women have been likened unto ostriches, right? Lamentations 4 verse 3. It says, even the sea monsters draw out the breast. They give suck to their young ones. The daughter of my people is become cruel. The Salakia, like the ostriches in the wilderness. Right? It says, the tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask for bread, and no man breaketh it unto them. So the Lord here is equating, all right, the sympathy of as it says here in the NLT, that even the young jackals feed their young. So like even the jackals feed their young, and it said draw out the breast, right? Speaking about the way that they receive the milk, and the milk obviously comes from the mother. So the Lord is saying, like, even the jackals, right, or in the KJV, the wild beasts, the wild monsters draw out their breasts. So like you're saying, wild sea monsters draw out their breasts. But the daughter of my people is cruel, like the ostriches in the wilderness. Now, the Lord likened the daughters, all right, of Israel, the mothers of Israel, like the ostriches. And when you go into Job, I believe it's 39. Where is it? Job 39, verse. Let's start at 13. It says, givest thou the goodly wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her egg in the earth, and warmeth them in the dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them, or that the wild beast may break them. So this is why the Lord says, the daughter of his people are like ostriches, right? Because they are cruel as an ostrich. They're cruel to their young. It says, she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. Her labor is in vain without fear, because the Most High deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. So this is why, as it says in NLT, she is harsh toward her young as if they were not her own. She doesn't care if they die. For the Most High deprived her of wisdom, he have given her no understanding. You see? And that is how our women, as we just read in the book of Lamentation, how our women are likened unto ostriches, right? They are deprived of wisdom. And they have no understanding. They just go about and do things, right? And not really understanding the repercussions of them, okay? Or how it's going to, affect them in the long run. You see, and this goes all the way back to Eve, being carnally minded, right? Giving too much desire, right, into the lust of the flesh and the lust, the lust of the eyes, right? The physical desires. And when you live that way, when you move that way, when you act and think that way, it shows that you are deprived of wisdom, right? And you're deprived of understanding. And this is what Esau uses to allure, just like how the serpent did to Eve, to allure our women into trusting in his system and trusting in him and thinking that he is an ally, to you, when in all actuality, he wants to destroy that really your man, Okay, to put it straight, because the serpent was envious of Adam, and Esau is envious of the Israelite man. So he uses his woman, right, as a weapon. He weaponized the woman because he knew that she lacked wisdom, she lacked understanding, and that she is given into pleasures, as the scripture says that she that liveth in pleasures is dead while she is alive. But the Lord has you a woman's number, okay? And Yahweh is not going to leave you unpunished. And the very man, the very pseudo power, right? Because that's what Esau is to our women, a god, right? But he's a false god, okay? The Lord is going to expose and use against you. He's going to use Esau against you. And now, as you see here in this article, or should I say it's an overview, right? Because I've seen an article and I just typed it in Google. It's the chickens are so-called, coming home to roost. You're reaping what you're sowing, right? You trusted in oppression. You trusted in Esau and his system. Okay, you went against the man, your man, right? You chose the side of the devil, right? Instead of being obedient unto your man, your Lord, who the Most High set up over you to give you immortality, right? To give you a rest, to give you peace and happiness. But because you didn't want to be obedient, right, to your man, you chose the side of the devil and thinking that, oh, there's more over here, right? The grass is greener on this side. But look at this. Reports indicate that Black women experienced the highest job losses among all demographic groups in April 2025. Here is a summary of the situation. Significant job losses. Significant. Black women lost 106,000 jobs in April, marking the steepest job loss for any demographic group. Unemployment rate increased. The unemployment rate for Black women jumped from 5.1 to 6.1, the largest month-to-month increase across all racial and gender groups. So they want to, over here, going to try to blame DEI, which really DEI, although it benefited so-called Black women, it mostly benefited so-called when I'm so-called the most, right, in so-called white women. You see, not saying that Black women didn't benefit from it, but it mostly benefited the Sodomites and Edomite women. But going on, federal job cuts to federal government jobs where Black women are disproportionately represented may also have played a role. Overall economic factors, broader economic factors, including potential impacts on tariffs and other policies, could have also contributed. Yeah, and I also read that because of the tariffs, small businesses where a lot of so-called Black women are hired at are having to cut jobs. So a lot of Jake women are, feeling the effects of small businesses being, downsizing because of the tariffs. So really, all in all, all of the areas where Jake women were able to, profit, because I've read an article where it says Black women are the majority breadwinners in the families. And that's something that is designed by Esau, right? You're not having that in any other group, a racial, so-called racial group, except the Black community, the so-called Black community, the Southern Kingdom, right? You're not having Moabite women making more money than Moabite men, or Elamite women making more money than Elamite men, and we damn sure know that it's not Edomite women over Edomite men, right? It's not African Hamite women over Hamitic men, and we can go on for all of the other 17 nations. But that is exactly what it is for the so-called black man. Okay, so that goes to show you, this place is designed systematically against us, set up against us, and that further does what? Take away the power, right? Take away the authority that a man naturally would have over his woman. Okay, and now she looks at her man as less than, and looks at the one who has given her these riches as her daddy, right, or her man, which is the Edomite man. But that is a design that the devil used. That is one of his cunning arts, right? That is one of the wiles of the devil. Okay, and when we speak about this, when we talk about this, the wisdom is not there for people to understand it. But the Lord is showing you women that all of those goodies that you thought that you were going to have forever with Esau, part of his kingdom, that's out the window. That time has expired. Okay, that time is up, and now you're experiencing the highest rates of job losses at a time in life where things are about to become more expensive, and is going to become more difficult to have a job with the skill sets, right, that you have acquired over your over the time period that you've been in this devil's kingdom. Because it's not as if, right, black women are in all types of industries, right? They've been created to go into certain types of industries, and those industries are becoming less and less desirable in the sense of human resource, because AI is taking over a lot of those jobs. You see, this is a whole snare that you Jake women are in. But it all started because of your desire to want to be able to be wild and free, right? Be able to be independent and underneath the authority and rulership of your man. When all along that was where your best life that you ever had. It was underneath your man's authority is where you will have the best life, and it ultimately is underneath Yahweh Shai's authority, because as Paul said, that the head of the man is the woman, right? And the head of that was saying the head of the woman is the man, right? And the head of the man is who? Yahweh Shai, and the head of Yahweh Shai is the Most High. It's an order. And as long as you're from not underneath your man's hedge and authority, wherever else you go is not going to be better. It may seem better, right? It may appease certain desires, but at the end of the day, it's going to bring you death. It's going to bring you to a degraded state. But when you're underneath your man, and that man is underneath Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai, of course, being underneath Yahweh, that's life. That's peace. That's security. That's flourishing. That's you being the most beautiful. That's you being the most pampered. That's you being the most taken care of. All these things comes with that. But because of the disobedient mindset that our women have, because of her desire for the flesh so much, she ends up in this predicament. So I got this here in the book of Ezekiel 13. And really, when you really think about the whole setup between a man and his woman, it really is an allegory between, right, or should I say, the bigger picture is Yahweh Shai over the Israelites. That's what that really represents as the man over his woman. You see? And that's the reunion that John the Revelator talks about in Revelation 19, the marriage of the wife to the bridegroom. That is who Yahweh Shai to the elect, the first fruits of the nation of Israel, and through them the whole house of Israel. Okay, but what I want to do is get this here in Ezekiel, verse 13, verse 16. It says, I'll start at 15. Thus, I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, at last, my anger against the wall and those who covered it with whitewash will be satisfied. Then I will say to you, the wall and those who whitewashed it are both gone. They were lying prophets who claimed peace would come to Jerusalem when there was no peace. I, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, have spoken. Right. And these are these false teachers, these false pastors, right, that get rich, preaching that 501c3, which is another deception that Esau uses, okay, to keep our people blinded, to keep them, underneath his sorcery, right, underneath his spell. They use our people and they pay them to lie into them. That's why you got the TD Jakes, right? You have these big celebrity pastors that preach something that sounds good to the people, preach peace, right? Peace, preach prosperity here in Babylon, when that's not something that they're getting from the Most High. They're being paid to do these things. And who is paying them? Esau, Edom. And who is the most members of the churches? The so-called black woman. You see how all that is tied and connected, right? It says, now, son of man, speak out against the women who prophesy from their own imaginations. And you have a lot of our women that push this mindset and notion of, black people can become successful and rich and have black businesses and all these things here in Babylon the Great. See, they push all of these this grander lifestyle, right, and the lifestyle of success, right, in the black community, but they're preaching all that here in Babylon. They're not speaking about Yahweh Shai to return to set up the kingdom. They want a part of Esau's society. And they don't even want the so-called black man to be in rulership. They want to be just as equal to the so-called white man. That is the desire that these Israelite women have, that they want to be equal to the so-called white man. And they want to be better than a so-called black man. That's it. So that's their imaginations. It says, this is what the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai says, what sorrow awaits you women who are ensnaring the souls of my people, young and old alike. You tie magic charms on their wrists and furnish them with magic veils. And that's interesting because a lot of these Jake women, right, of the world are into these bracelets, right, with the evil eye, or, just these bracelets that they basically pray over, and it's supposed to keep evil spirits and evil energy away, right? So it goes to show you who this is talking about. Nothing new underneath the sun, right? And it's also interesting, right? It says magic charms and on their wrists and furnish them with magic veils. It says, do you think you can trap others without bringing destruction on yourselves? You bring shame on me among my people for a few handfuls of barley or a piece of bread. See, so our women are bringing shame on our people because they are a part of our nation. And when your women are acting a certain way, that's going to put shame on the man. You see? So the way that our women conduct themselves makes us look bad as men on the world stage, amongst these nations. And that takes away the once again, that damages the authority that a man, right, has. It damages the reputation. It damages his name when his woman is out of order. So that, and they're doing this, they're acting this way for what? It says a handful of barleys or a piece of bread. Piece of bread. What do they call money? Bread. They act this way for money. So they continue to be down with this system, trusting in the system, because Esau is promising them, right, money. And here it is now. That promise is, once again, going back to this, that promise is he's taking that promise away, because showing you that he's a liar, right? And you trusted in him. See, this is the part where it says the layoffs at the federal level, where black people are more represented. The impacts of tariffs, particularly on small businesses that hire black women, are just the overall use, the overall use of DI as a slur, which may be contributing to a lack of hiring of black women. All of these factors are probably at play. Okay, so all of these things are happening at once, which is causing black women to lose their jobs, which is causing them to lose their money, the things that they basically sold out for, right? The magic spells that they push, right? Hey, what they call it, that black girl magic. Yeah, that's expiring. You see, it ain't working no more. It says, by lying to my people who love to listen to lies, you kill those who should not die, and you promise life to those who should not live. This is what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai says. I am against all of your magic charms, right? Your black girl magic, which you use to snare my people like birds. I will tear them from your arms, setting my people free like birds set free from a cage. And that is who? The elect, right? Through the Rakakwadash, this truth, you have the elect men that are being set free by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai through this understanding, through this knowledge, through this word going out, right? And that vibration is going throughout the world, and it's in its own way. That's why you have a lot more of these podcasts, niggas, talking about the red pill, right? The passport bros, right? You had the Kevin Samuels and all that, because that vibration ultimately is going out. But the true men who the Lord is going to show as being a chosen are going to be the ones that take heed unto this truth, to this ministry, and believing on Yahweh Shai, right? Believing on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Those are the ones who are going to be that hedge of protection. Those are the ones that are going to be made fine gold. So while you continue to lose your jobs, right? You continue to keep losing in Babylon, because you black women are losing in Babylon right now since Trump came back in office, right? That you're going to keep taking L's, and the Lord is going to show who his chosen men are, and he's going to make them precious as fine gold. And that's how you're going to have Isaiah 4:1 come into play, because of the famines, because of Jacob's trouble, right? Because of a collapse of the economy. All of these things, what 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, right? All of these things is going to increase the value of an elect man, while the value of a so-called black woman that is tied to this world is going to continue to diminish. Right? So this is why we tell our women to repent, believe on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and get in order, so that the Lord can have mercy upon you when all hell breaks loose and links you up to a man of the Lord. Right? That is what, the message is. So, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.